Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Cadence of Conrad. Today, I want to talk about how I feel fashion retail is very much like the spectator sport of football. And I say this because it is a sport in which hundreds of millions of people watch daily, monthly, and 90% of the people who are watching that sport have probably never in their lives played a full 90 minutes of football with more than a handful of people watching. And yet they believe that they're in a position to give advice and feedback on a situation and a very unique experience that they may never be privy to. Why do I draw this parallel between football and fashion retail? Because I had an encounter a very long time ago with a client about how she got upset, and she was upset and frankly almost wanting to cancel her purchase because I refused to give her a discount. Now, hold on. You might be thinking I'm referring to a store discount. You know, you're buying this, buy two, get one free, buy three, get half off. No, she wanted me to give her my own personal discount. And the reason why this struck me is because when I explained to her in as nicest way I could that wait, this is a reward that the company gives me for my hard work, for my diligence, for as a perk of being part of this company. She was like, "Yes, and so I should have something for the fact that I'm still one of your clients, the fact that I still shop here, the fact that I'm a repeating customer." And I thought, but you're getting the product. You're getting what you're paying for. Let's leave the intricacies of how much the actual thing is valued. It doesn't matter. Perceived value, implied value, it's all irrelevant in a situation because the moment you walk in and you agree to hand over currency, money, however it might be, for a particular item, you have agreed. This is law 101. You have agreed to make that purchase. So you are satisfied and happy with the fact that that thing you're buying costs this much and we're trading or bartering for that item. And she got very upset. And it made me think, especially because recently with all the football hoorah that I'm seeing on social media, why is it that this happens? How could someone on the outside be so clueless and be so oblivious to the realities? Do they know what it is that goes on within these companies? What it is that we have to learn and unlearn, the situations that people have to work under in order to achieve these roles and keep them? Because fashion retail is an incredibly competitive sport. I have to call it a competitive sport because there are targets, there are things that you have to do, there are things that you have to be, there's things that you need to learn, house codes, ways of operation. There is so much that you have to take in and keep and retain and keep adding on. And the most important part of all this is just like the players, how one team will play against Chelsea is not the same way they're going to play against Manchester City. They have to evolve, they have to adapt, they need a new formation. In the same way, in fashion retail, with each and every person that you approach, with each and every person that approaches you, you have to change your tone. You have to change your mannerisms. You have to change how you approach the words you use, your cadence, sometimes even the language. These guys are doing a lot of work for that discount. They're doing a lot. Now, the reason why I thought about this is because recently it was brought to my attention from a friend of mine who's in another company that he wasn't doing the best that he could do. And so they were going to get someone, or rather put him in a program where They would show him how to interact better with clients. And I thought to myself, so I asked him, who's teaching you? Who's leading this program? And he said, no, it's one of the managers. I'm like, okay, it's a manager who you guys must have managers that sell then, right? You have managers who are on the shop floor every single day trying to sell products. And he was like, oh no, of course, this manager has never worked on a shop floor. I'm like, okay, but what does he know about interacting with clients then? Just I was literally curious as to why this guy was selected to give this guy training. And he was like, well, yeah, this is what he does. This is his role in the company. Okay, I get you. I hear you. But what real life experience does he have? You see, the playing field for the people who work on the shop floors in different companies is constantly changing. In 2020, we had COVID. Everyone was walking around in masks. So what this does is it prevents the person who's looking at you to get a good feel for your energy, your aura, because all they can see is your eyes. And you know how obvious and how sometimes easy it is to see whether someone wants to be there from their eyes. The mouth can be saying one thing. They can be like, yes, oh my God, I'm happy to meet you. But then the eyes are reading dead. Please don't look at my face. Just leave here. I know you don't want anything. So there was an evolution that had to occur there. But all that aside, with every single change that the industry faces, the people on the shop floor have to adapt. Things change from season to season. Things change from nationality to nationality. The way you interact with a Russian client is not the same way you interact with a Nigerian client. Absolutely not. The same way you interact with a Chinese client is not the same way you interact with a Japanese client. They're both Asian, look kind of similar, but there is a nuance there that you have to understand and pick up on. What is the guy who hasn't spent an hour on the shop floor in the last 3 years going to know about how to interact with clients? Oh, because he's read some books. He's watched someone speak on a TED talk about how it is that you can interact with people. Okay, great. I love it. Fantastic. I'm up for a TED talk. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Let's TED talk our lives away. Let's watch feedback all the way. Let's read all the articles, the quantitative, the qualitative. Let's look at all the numbers, of course, but it's not the reality. The kind of nose and sense that you need as someone who works on a shop floor to read people from a distance, to listen to what not been said. Look, let me tell you something from me and a personal perspective. Every single day, almost every single day, failingly, I ask God, my creator, I ask him to give me eyes that can see what is not being shown, to give me ears to hear that what is not being spoken. Why? So that when I interact with people in my work and what I do, the things that they're not saying, the feelings they have, the inclinations that they may hide, I can get a sense of them. Now, even with that, with my petition to my Father in heaven, even with my petition, I don't get it right 100% of the time. I get it right most of the time, to be honest with you. But this is a personal thing between me and God and between me and the client. There is an understanding, you know? So, with all of this, I'm still not like hitting the nail on the head every single time. So who are you? Who is this person to say, I know how you should interact with clients? There is a different management skill that is required in this situation. And I've said this before many times to people in personal reaction. The tone and the way you phrase things matters so much. Instead of you're doing this wrong, how can I help you to be better? What can I change that will make you better? Are there things that are preventing you from operating at your full potential? If there are, highlight them to me, point them out. Let us sit down together and let's break through down these problems and these barriers and make you the best that you can be. Phrasing, language, tone, cadence. These are the ways that you interact with people. Being a manager doesn't require you to just instruct and criticize. You need to guide and support. That's what a managerial purpose is. I guess this is why they say the leaders are born. Because you either have it or you don't, darling. I'm sorry. And the reason why I bring this up is because I want it to be clear to people, and it is something that I want also to get feedback on because I want to know, have any of you others experienced this? Have you ever been told something by someone who has no idea what they're talking about? Not because they haven't watched the last 30 games of your season or because they haven't been following fashion for the last 20 years. No, these things are valid. I'm not diminishing or belittling the fact that you can gain a lot of information from observation in this sense. But real life experience, nothing beats it. Nothing beats it. So I want to know, guys, what do you think? Are you willing to listen to someone who, in reality, doesn't have the actual experience that you have? He or she hasn't walked a day in your shoes in the last 5 years, sometimes even longer, sometimes never. Do you think that this is valid advice? I am not diminishing what can come from being taught something or what you can learn from watching and reading and podcasts and TED Talks. These things are all valid. But you need to come at this in a different way. It should be how can I help you? How can I use what I've learned to make you better? How can I support you? How can I guide you? Not you've done this wrong, criticize. Do this, instruct. There must be a better way. So I pose this to you. Let me know in the comments. Do you think that there is a way to be led that will make a difference to your output? Do you want someone to support you and guide you? Or do you perform under instructions and criticism? I'm curious. I want to know. Because I guess for some people that works, but I have a feeling that for the large majority of people, support and guidance is really what breaks the ice. I'll end this here. Thank you so much for watching. As usual, I don't make the rules, but as you can see, I enforce them. Peace and love.